Hello, I'm here.
Hello, I'm here too.
Yay!
I'm getting ice. I'm prepared. Adjacent. Prepared.
You are prepared. I have not gathered my things yet.
Oh no!
But they're right here, so it's okay.
Oh, well, you know, I just sent Christy. I was preparing my things, and my cat was trying to kill my hopes and dreams of ever having this drink. You'll get to see how, and you can guess which cat it is.
My money is on Beethoven.
How could you even say that? Beethoven is an angel. He is not someone who wants to catch my house on fire or anything like that.
He never wants to destroy the world.
Nope. Christy, did you hear?
Did I hear?
You told me.
What?
That Chick-fil-A is woke now.
Oh, Chick-fil-A has betrayed everyone.
I've never been. Well, that's probably a lie. I got married and stuff, but this is pretty exciting. Exciting.
You've had some better moments. I, though.
Well,
sadly, until Chick-fil-A brings that cauliflower sandwich to Florida.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, yes, Christy is of the veggie persuasion.
I am of the veggie persuasion, so
I can tell you how it tastes. How many shots are you putting in this? I ask this every week.
You ask this every time, and every time...
You want me to follow my heart.
You don't follow what I tell you, though.
But that's sort of part of the course of knowing me, I think.
Oh, no.
I like to know your opinion.
And then you like to ignore it.
Basically. That's sort of what being a teacher is all about, really.
It's just like par for the course for life.
All right, I'm going to do... Are you doing 3?
Sure. Let's...
All right, I just did 3.
We'll go big or go home.
Theologist.
Except I am home, so it's go big and continue to be at home.
I think that's part of the problem. We decided we're going to do a live podcast at AAR this year, the American Academy of Religion, and we won't be home.
We won't be home. And the chances are we'll be far drunker.
Oh, gosh.
Because AAR.
Maybe more entertaining, those. Who knows?
Who knows? Hey, so welcome to Theology on the Rocks.
Welcome! I'm Leah Elizabeth, as my grandma will call me.
Does she always say your name? Your full name?
Well, it's sort of a tradition, I guess, in the South. My grandma would say it more affectionately, like Leah Elizabeth. But if my mom said Leah Elizabeth, then something was about to happen.
Exactly. Well, because my full name, which I'm not going to say because I hate it.
Oh, I could tell people, I think.
No, I don't.
I wouldn't go against your consent, though.
They're going to try to call me by that name.
Call me by that.
But there was one year where I decided I was going to be a grown up. Oh, are you shaking it?
I can shake this one.
You can shake this one.
We haven't told them what we're making yet, but you can. Here's a hint. You can shake it.
It's not carbonated.
It's not going to spill over.
So I guess, spoiler, guys, we did not go with that margarita wine.
Oh, no.
I hilariously posted.
I was like, I'll go get it.
Leah was like, oh, okay, I guess.
Yeah.
And I was like...
It didn't look great, but, I mean, again... relative to some of the things we've had.
Relatively not as terrible. But it was not, I didn't love it. So instead, we're having actual margaritas.
Yeah, and we figured it would fit the theme. We had someone give us a margarita, but it had, was it mezcal in it or something?
Had mezcal.
And yeah.
Sandra, I will drink your drink someday, but
I just don't have it.
I don't have mezcal, and I didn't want to go out. It's been raining like...
I'm sorry, Florida, but I'm going to have to stop you right there. It was raining one day out of like...
It's been raining
65 days.
Supposedly there's a storm in the
It's
Gulf.
in I was going to tell you this on the thing that you're sending me stuff on. Is I think it's El Nino or Nina. I don't know which one, but
yeah.
I think it's some sort, because they've been talking to us about it too in North Kakalaki.
Well, no, there's like an actual like.
Oh, a hurricane or something?
It's not a hurricane yet. It's like, the like tropical storm or something. I don't know. I don't understand these terms.
You might want to, given where you live.
I follow. There's a weatherman here. His name is Dennis. No, Penny is losing her mind. No, and he says not to freak out until he tells you to freak out.
Oh, wow.
So,
well, that's good.
That's my new motto in life: is rule number 7: don't freak out until Dennis tells me to. No, my dog is freaking out.
Our weather people in North Carolina, because we don't have them as frequent as you guys do, the weather people here, they're not the local ones, but like the Weather Channel people, I swear they get paid for drama. Like they're just like, we're all gonna die. It's coming.
It's coming for us.
An hour, 30 minutes. You get cover. And it's like, because there was this one that I think it was Florence that happened a couple years ago, and it was going so slow off the like East Coast that it was supposed to just like hit Charlotte and just like chill for a while, which for hurricanes is like not a good thing. I've heard for them to just sit.
For them to just sit. Yeah, I've learned that that's not. That's
not a good thing. And it came, and I remember my husband was in Scotland, and he said, "Are you taking cover? What are you doing?" And I was like, "I've gone to get tacos."
You went to get tacos?
I had walked down the street to get tacos, and I was like, "Man, it's awful rainy." And then I was just sitting there watching But there's a lot of jokes about Southerners and weather, and it is kind of true. Like if that was a snowstorm, I would have taken extreme cover.
I would have been like, let's go for a drive. And you're like, we're going to die.
We did. And I thought we were. You drove me in Denver and you're like, oh, there's an ice patch. And I was like, holy, we're never going to make it out of here. But you give us a tornado siren and I'm like, who's got the cheese dip?
There's a thing here called hurricane parties. They like get all the alcohol and.
Yep. Well, you got to eat all the food and drink all the stuff because your electricity's going to go out. And then it doesn't, and you're just hungover and poor.
So last hurricane season, we had a big one, Ian, and it was supposed to hit right here. Like,
oh yeah,
we were like the target. And so I like did the most preparation like any northerner would do.
Well, and she told me she was coming to North Carolina to see me, and she lied. Viewers,
my card would not have made it.
She went to Florida.
I went south,
from Florida to Florida.
But no, first I like prepared. I bought cases of water. I had like frozen bottles of water in my freezer to help
the freezer stay cold. Oh, I see. That's smart. That's smart.
No, I mean, I learned all these things. I had bags of kitty litter in case like I needed.
You got a cat in the
block water for flooding or something.
Oh, never mind.
It was like I had so much stuff, and then they were like, you have to fill up your bathtub with water to use to flush the toilet.
What?
And I was like, my bathtub doesn't have a stopper, so I went out and bought a thing to put over. I mean, it's
so much more information than I've ever had.
It's so much work. And so I was all prepared, and then my school closed down for the week because of the hurricane, and I was like, well, then I'm gonna get out of here. And my aunt lives in Fort Lauderdale, and the hurricane was not supposed to hit down there, so she was like, just come here. So I did. I went to Fort Lauderdale.
She did.
I had a little
and then I cried.
Vacation.
I cried a lot. Just think, if you'd stayed, you could have had a bath, you could have had cats that may have dropped down from the hurricane into your backyard.
An unrelated flood happened in my apartment later. And it did, in fact, the bags of kitty litter were in one closet, and at one point they got wet and they just disintegrated into a pile. So, like, my new warning for people dealing with hurricanes is to not get kitty litter because it would very bad.
I've never heard that and I've lived on the East Coast my entire life, and I've never once heard the kitty litter thing.
I just was taking advice wherever I could get it. Like,
I think that's fair. I mean, I think you should. I just think that I don't understand that part.
Leah,
that
is your margarita ready?
Yeah, do you want to drink it? Let's
Oh,
drink
yeah. Okay, cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, it is strong.
Yeah, it is. It's sort of giving me heartburn already. Ooh. My glasses pick your poison.
I like it. And my glass is a margarita glass that I bought off of a man while I was walking down the street in Denver.
Oh, that sounds sanitary. What do you mean?
He was like having just like a little tiny garage sale. It was mostly just
a garage with his own glasses.
With glasses. And there were some blue plastic margarita glasses, and we bought them, and I still have them.
Were they? I hope you got a bargain on those glasses.
I genuinely do not know. I think I probably overpaid because I was just like, margarita glasses.
Why did you need them in that instance on the street?
Leah.
Yes, I'm right here.
You're asking questions that cannot be answered.
Okay, cool. There's many a thing I bought like haphazardly on the street that were absolutely not necessary, but like I never bought a glass.
I bought 6 of them.
Oh shit. Wow. Okay.
The whole set.
Did you have to carry it around for like the rest of the night?
I feel like we were pretty close to our house, and so we like took them back and then went back out.
Okay.
But
well,
I do.
That's what they do. That's what they do up north, I suppose.
I just remember that it was summer, and we were like, let's have a margarita party. And then that obviously did not happen because
well, we're having margaritas to toast multiple things. One, we're going to be talking about Latin America today, but also there's a TikTok trend margarita right now, which we're not going to tell you.
If you've seen anything about somebody having one margarita
and the consequences,
you'll know why we're drinking margaritas today.
We both saw it, but you really have to see the it's basically like a clip, and on TikTok they like make it into a song.
Yeah,
and the song is truly the gem.
It's truly fantastic. Like, it's like give a woman a margarita or something, I think is how it starts.
Yeah.
Or a girl.
Well, it goes through what will happen as the more that you drink.
The more margaritas that you have, the consequences begin to pile up. But yes, we are going to talk about Latin America because we're going to finish up church history today.
Well, we're going to give it a college try.
We're going to give it that old college try. But we're going to skip over like 200 years.
That's true. Part of it is that we like each other and we like theology. So you know what? You're on this journey with us.
Yeah.
Go with it.
This is Theology with Christy and Leah, and
we never said it was going to be quick.
We never said it was going to be.
We didn't make any real promises
all encompassing. At all. We made almost no promises about this.
In fact, the first episode, I didn't think anyone else was listening, which is why I talked about what I
did. We've accumulated followers, and now we're like, well,
we have taken on some advice about vocabulary. So this isn't necessarily like a teaching podcast. There are definitely podcasts for that. This is more like, I guess, like an insider podcast. But our friends who are listening, who are maybe not and by insider, I mean those who have studied theology. But we don't want to exclude people who haven't studied that because you make up most of our friends, and we are happy about that.
We are so happy about that. And too, we want it to be like,
like people can pick
for many people, but
right. I want my husband to understand it. So we've started doing some vocabulary stuff. Again, we're not going to talk about it on the podcast, but if you go to our Instagram at Theology on the Rocks, you can see some of the words that we maybe use a lot that are kind of academic words, and if you want to know it saves you having to Google them. So.
Yeah, we are putting some definitions up there, so they'll be in a highlight. We will probably also put up some like references to theologians or something like that. They'll be in a highlight, so you can always catch those. There's also Google.
Probably some of my cat photos.
But if you ever are like, hey, you talked about something that sounds interesting, or we didn't, we weren't sure what it is, that is always a great question to write in and be like, talk more about this, and we will.
Yeah.
So.
And we are going to have guests, I think, fairly soon.
Yes.
Tomorrow is June 1st, which is the start of Pride Month.
Mm-hmm.
So that should give you some indication of who we might have on the podcast coming up. But that's just a little bit of a vague spoiler.
Vague spoiler for a guest that's coming.
Oh my God. You hear the tub thumping that's happening in the background.
Penny is just absolutely furious that I won't let her sit at this kitchen table with me.
Christy's dog is so good. Like, all of my animals run at like a 45 out of 10. And Christy has like the chillest dog of all time. Except I think she wants to murder you on the inside.
But she just wants to be surgically attached to me at all times. So
until you leave. So my husband and I stayed with Christy. Quick story. And I like this last March, and Beethoven, I can't right now with you. And basically she left because she had to go to work because we had different spring breaks. Mm-hmm. And Penny barked at us initially, and then within, I would say, 3 to 3.5 seconds,
yes,
was basically in the bed with me.
She adapts to her new life incredibly quickly.
She was just like, okay, you're my new parent.
Yeah, her loyalty is not her strongest suit. Like, she loves me. She loves me when I'm here, but if I leave her with anyone else, they are instantly her new mom.
That's like Zero, my dog. I do have a dog. And Zero is like, has started growling at people when they come up to me, like, I'm going to defend you, because that's like the German Shepherd. But then he instantly melts into the pit bull because he's a mix.
Just like, love me.
Because as soon as someone kneels down, he's like, oh, I'm sorry. Who is that bitch? I love you.
Yeah.
You're the person I love.
Like, truly, if I'm here, if I'm in the room, I am her person, and she will bark at everybody else, and she just wants to be sitting with me. But if I leave, it's like she's never met me. She's like, oh, look, my new favorite person is right here, and I will live my life out with you instead.
Just like, do you have, the small sustenance it takes to keep me alive? Well, then you can be my new family.
Will you let me sit with you 24/7? Done. I will love you till the day I die.
I love the dogs are supposed to be like the most loyal, but literally, the most loyal animal in this house
is
Salem.
Salem the cat. Yeah.
Like, hands down. Hands. Oh no, I heard her.
Did you hear her?
Yeah, I heard like
She's like, why are you torturing me?
You're just talking at a microphone. There's no one. She thinks you've gone crazy. You're just talking to nobody.
She's always like, Mom just sits there and talks at nothing.
All right, so let's pick back up with our theology timeline.
Yes, so we left off at the Reformation, which is the 1500s. And like we said, this is when the Protestants start to splinter. So we have, at this point, Lutherans coming out of Martin Luther. We've got the kind of Reformed category coming out of Calvin and Zwingli and the Dutch. We've got Anglicans or Episcopalians, depending on what country you live on, coming out of the Church of England and the Reformation that comes from Henry VIII.
What would you say was the biggest difference between the Calvinists and the Lutherans? Because the people who followed them, not necessarily now, but like, because there seems to be this big split with, like you said, the Lutherans and then the Reformed people who came out of John Calvin.
Yeah, well,
but we usually like just put them all together, and that
we do kind of lump them all together. But I would say that Well, for one of my seminary professors, Dr. David Bouchard, fantastic man, always wore bow ties. Um,
It's like my dog.
he talked about there was kind of a like sit down at one point, not a real sit down, but you know, the talking over trying to unify some of these Protestant denominations.
Mm.
And like most of them could not agree on how to do the Lord's Supper or the Eucharist or communion, whatever you want to call it. And that was a huge sticking point because it kind of demonstrated a lot of the differences in theology. So Lutheranism, which sees taking communion, which is when you do the bread and the wine, um, as a mystical union with Jesus.
Mm.
And
So
this
kind of Catholic
kind of, yeah, it's like it's similar. I mean, it's Catholic light, you know.
Yeah.
And that mystical union also symbolizes, like, again, Luther's focus that our salvation is only because of what God has done. So we don't do anything, and like no works or understanding of works should be involved in it. Whereas like Calvin was like, no, like some works because we have to live up to God's standards after.
And I'm going to shut down all the bars. I remember that fact.
And then you get the Anabaptists, who the Anabaptists and what we call the Radical Reformation are like, we are very afraid of losing our salvation, and so we're going to be incredibly nitpicky about every action you ever do in your life. um, so taking communion was like it was more symbolic because it wasn't doing anything. Like your daily life is what's doing things for your salvation there.
Yeah.
So
that sounds familiar. Okay.
but yeah, so it has a lot to do with those kind of like bits and pieces, is like what like where God is in terms of like control, or how
and
much
ritual, the purpose of rituals.
the purpose of rituals, how much of our lives are determined by God, and how much free will do we have, and that kind of stuff.
So we can see at this stage is that there hasn't really, even when the councils got together and tried to agree on things, it didn't work.
It did not work.
And it hasn't worked yet.
It, like my boss always said, put 5 theologians in a room, you're going to get 6 answers to a question. Like,
that's amazing.
And I've seen it happen. So
yeah. So that's why whenever I think part of the reason I don't love Twitter is because I see these people, like, someone will say something and then someone will reply, and I'm like, well, yeah, those are 2 options, and there's probably like 8 others.
Well, it's so hard to nuance all of this stuff in like a Twitter thread, you know. It's just you're losing huge amounts of that nuance. Like, what do we mean by these words, or how does this apply in certain situations, or whatever?
Yeah, and like I said, we all stick our hat on, a certain, I don't know what metaphor to use here. We all throw our hat in the ring. There we go.
We all land on a certain thing.
There we go. We do. And I think which actually segues. Okay. Actually segues.
Now. Our pets are just having a time.
They're having a bad time, and they have no reason to be having a bad time.
They have no reason.
They live in air-conditioned boxes. Like, and we don't have kids, so they're our sole beneficiaries of extra money.
99% of my attention at all times.
Right. But that sort of idea lends itself into where I was going to go next, which was Friedrich Schleiermacher, who, I think one big thing that happens after the Reformation is the Enlightenment period.
Yes.
And that really changes theology. So all of this sort of stuff that we've been talking about, absolutely changes a ton of things. Theology being one of them. And this is all kind of happening in Europe, just to like set you in a geographical place. And the Reformation is also in that world too. And when the Reformation happens, it's really, and you can correct me if you think, or will add to, or whatever. It was really, I think, a reaction against the authorities that had been in power for quite some time. And traditionally in Europe, those authorities were the church. But also just this idea, even beyond that, of what was truth, and how do we find truth, and are we just told what is true? Or can we actually seek it out for ourselves? So it was a very kind of humanist movement, in the sense of humanists being, that humans are capable of kind of figuring things out on their own, and that the natural world offers answers that we can find out. We don't have to be told about them. And so with that, you get real intense advances in, science and math and philosophy and et cetera, et cetera. But a lot of these subjects where it was basically like, we don't need mystical, supernatural, unmeasurable things to tell us what is true and real and how things work. You can have a cold without having demons inside you that you need to bleed out for.
Right.
And we can look under a microscope and see what those things are, and they're not ghosties. So,
and they're not fairies.
No, they're not. I love the Theosophical Society, but that's a tale for a different day. But yeah, so that was kind of what was happening, and it really caught on. And that's where we get a lot of the ideas, if you're in the United States, of the founding fathers and some of the stuff they had about really the capabilities. It was a hyper humanist movement.
It
just
was.
like this idea that humans can really, I honestly, I love a lot of the ideas, like figuring out how diseases work, but also I think we're a bit over optimistic about like the separation of church and state.
Yeah.
Sorry, John Locke. Sorry.
There was some amount of like, I think, necessary working out of like, if theology is trying to explain the world around us, which is what all religions are trying to do, is just explain the world around us, think about where we might have come from, think about who we are as people, like, is there a higher power, et cetera, et cetera. And for the most part, religions aren't trying to come up with like exact scientific like stories about the world. They're just like, here's how we can kind of feel some sense of security in this very chaotic and difficult world. And when the Enlightenment starts and science is starting to explain some of the things that we didn't know before, the idea is then that like, oh, well, we don't need theology or religion because now we can explain these things with science. But that's also not really what religion was doing anyway, like on a bigger scale. And so the fight between the two is really people talking past each other, I think.
It is, and it's also the idea of what the academics were doing versus the people. And I think the people in some ways did want some of those answers. And when you started getting these answers from elsewhere, I do think it changed the way even the everyday person viewed theology and the church as well. And the church felt very challenged by that. And so if we go through that to Friedrich Schleiermacher, he's in the early 1800s, so he's sort of, it's still the Enlightenment world, and the world exists. It's not the beginning of it, but like he's kind of in that post world, I would say, almost, where he's having to navigate. And Schleiermacher was someone who was a teacher of ministers mostly, and the theology had at least in the European context, had always held a very important place in the even secular quote universities, and some places had even built certain universities.
Most ancient universities started as divinity schools or theology schools. So where Leah and I both did our PhDs, those both started as religious institutions. It's what really kind of built out in that scholastic period that came a while ago. But
it doesn't exist because you killed it with that science. you knocked it out. But yeah, so our universities don't exist. Thanks, Christy. But Schleiermacher,
I did.
You killed it. You killed it.
I killed it. Oops.
I'm the problem. It's me. It's okay. So Schleiermacher's existing in that world
What
in
time period is, like, I always forget when
early
the
'1800s,
early
I
1800s.
think.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he was at a couple, I think, German universities, and then he was in that world. He predates the. We talk about the German theologians a lot,
Mhm.
and he predates that group that we're actually referring to, which was more in World War II. Um, and actually, some of those folks are going to pick up on his ideas. The reason that I point him out as being important is because he's called the father of practical theology, which is what I do, but also
Mhm.
the father of liberal theology,
Yes.
which is a new movement that kind of comes from, I would say, some of his ideas. I
Some
don't
of his
think.
ideas. I would also like, and I always do this with my students, to take a moment and just say that liberal theology is not any theology that is slightly left to whatever you believe. Uh, liberal theology is an actual thing that has an actual definition.
It does.
Um, and it
And
is,
it comes out of this world where basically theologians were trying to figure out, what the hell do we do? Because our credibility and, well, even less our credibility, more our importance has been diminished
yeah.
in the wake of all of this. So what do we do
And
about
so
it?
it's liberal theology is literally just saying, how do we understand what theology is talking about, what we believe, and particularly in Christianity, with new evidence and new information, and therefore we have to like re-understand old traditions, and that is
Yeah, in light
what
of
liberal theology is.
yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you said that. I mean, yeah, I think because there was this idea within theology that I hope you all who are listening can see based on our history is that it had to remain static, that it couldn't
Mhm.
change. And in fact, that's just not what happened
That's not
at
what ever
all.
happened. Yeah, like
It's
at
like
no time period.
make theology great again. Much that saying, is not new to any political person, whoever they might be, and whatever they might think. It's always this idea that we have to take it back to some original thing that was sort of the purest version
Mhm.
of that, and there just doesn't
Yeah, it doesn't
exist.
exist, and it's theology like at its core is a conversation that's always progressing and
Mm-hmm.
happening and working things out and sorting through issues, and so it can't just be like this is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And Schleiermacher acknowledged that. I
Mhm.
think we in PT give him a little bit, practical theology give him a little bit more credit than is perhaps deserved of his. I mean, look, every person has their flaws, but I will
Everybody
say
does.
everyone has their thing. One of the things that I will say is that Schleiermacher saw the. I'm only going to talk about the practical theology part really specifically, but it does actually tie into the larger movement that's happening in light of the Enlightenment in theology, which is this idea that basically you can do two things. You can either hide in your shell, block out what's happening in the world, and say, you know what, the people who did it first got it right. Did they have differing opinions? Sure. Lutherans
Mhm.
and Calvinists, we just talked about them. But
Mhm.
like, at least in Protestant theology, we can do that, or we can try to interact with what's happening. And so Schleiermacher, this is the part that I say to some degree, tried to interact with what was happening in the world at the time, in the sense that he wanted theology to be seen as legitimate in the academy. However, I will say a limitation is that he only really had a vision for that within the context of the church. So there wasn't really like theology. He would have said it existed outside of the church, but the church
Mhm.
was kind of the nexus of
Yeah.
like what was happening. And so his focus was really on ministers and training. But one of the things that he noticed is that ministers typically in this world in the 1800s have been trained, really no matter the denomination, in things like Latin and Greek and Hebrew and,
Yes.
like the Bible and all
Yes.
that's fine. But what he noticed is that his people coming out who are going to be ministers had no idea how to interact with humans, which is really like it really harps on that sort of idea that we tell you what to believe kind of
Yeah.
thing. And as the Enlightenment happens, really people start to realize, oh, we have to interact with human beings, and we have to see
Mhm.
them as like agents of creating theology and understanding theology and interpreting themselves. And so he kind of brings that in, which is why he's called the father of practical theology, is that he takes into consideration this idea that humans will forever. He's got a book on hermeneutics that's very famous, and essentially he says this is not a direct line, like at least not the product as a direct line. It may have started as a direct line, but what you have produced is through the lens of your own self. And hermeneutics is basically a fancy word for interpretation. So that could be, preaching or doing Bible interpretation or whatever. But he was saying that essentially when we do religion, we are doing it through ourselves, and we are human, and there's nothing else we can do. And so he creates this lovely tree that we as PT people love to use, which has philosophical theology, which to him was essentially systematics, and then as kind of the roots, and then historical theology, which is basically what we've been talking about.
Yes.
Just the theology of the church.
Exactly, these 2 episodes. Yep.
And then the branches, or the crown, as he called it, is practical theology. Yeah, that's right. The crown. And so he called it the crown of the theological disciplines. And he thought, actually, what's more important is what people are doing with theology. So that's the key of the practical stuff. Is it's not so much the trunk and the roots, although we need those, but the actual and I'm not sure he would say this, I'm saying this is that the important part is what's happening out in the world and how people use it. But he used that as a means of basically making theology scientific, because you could measure it.
Yes.
You could go out and see what people were doing.
Yeah.
And you could analyze it, and you could, observe it and that kind of thing. So it made something that was kind of nebulous into something that was concrete.
Yes. Which was super necessary, especially as we're entering into the next major part of history.
Yes.
For us, for this conversation. And also I think is an important thing that we always need to keep in mind is what is happening with the theology we're doing, because it's not being done in a vacuum.
No.
And none of us have the ability to take an unbiased look at what's going on. You cannot, nor should you, remove
even this history is insanely biased.
It's insanely biased. We've skipped so many people.
It's so Protestant. It's so
super
biased.
Protestant. It's also
we've skipped Justin Martyr.
We mentioned the mystics
barely.
I couldn't remember when Thomas Aquinas lived.
I'm pretty sure Aquinas got killed, not killed, but got wiped out by Christie.
I got rid of the scholastics. Leah got rid of the reformers. We're really just
that was very, very anti-Protestant of me that I did
it. Yeah. So everybody has an agenda. Everybody is looking at something through their own cultural background, their life experience, the way that they learn and develop knowledge, and understanding what your bias is and where you're coming at things from is going to be so much more helpful and a useful tool than pretending that you have some universal.
Which a lot of times I think people think that's what theology is that when you say you teach that, you're teaching here is the answer.
Here's all I know. And I never give answers, and my students hate me for it.
For sure.
They're which one is right? I don't know.
World religions, that's my favorite question. Which one's right?
Which one is right?
Please, I tell my students, please let me know when you figure it out.
I used to give my students in my systematic theology class, we would go over the atonement theories, and there are 9 major atonement theories. And they would be 9 as how which one is right? And I would be it is, you have to come up with that answer for yourself.
That's on you.
Is
and what you think is perhaps a universal truth is probably because of what you grew up in.
And also you can mix and match them.
You can take God
scope view.
Oh my gosh. The Baptists love a good mixy matchy. Except for hell.
Except for that.
Hell exists. That's it. At least for the Southern Baptists, I should say. Anyway, so we're gonna skip to, what did we decide? Skip to the World War II?
Yes, World War II. So we're moving from early 1800s to early 1900s.
Christy, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna let you do Bart because I can clue in with some. What we need to know is that there were, at least in the brewings of World War II, and indeed in the midst of it, if we talk about like Bonhoeffer,
Mm-hmm.
You have these folks who are coming out of basically trying to speak out against the national church, which is
Yes.
really adhering itself in a very dangerous way.
Well,
bad theology, I might
it's
say.
bad theology. And like we've been saying repeatedly, if you want more information on this, Leah's book does not cover this in specific.
I tried, but it got too much.
It
I
was
couldn't
too
do
much.
it.
But you'll kind of see what we're talking about in the case studies that she looks at. But the way that the Nazi church, the what did they call it? The German Christian church.
I think it was just it was the national church.
The way that they,
which a lot of European countries, I should say, do have sort of national churches.
They do, yes, lots of them. Like Great Britain's national church is the Church of England, which the monarch is the head of. So it's currently,
well, for those of the Scottish contingency, England is you have the Church of Scotland as well.
You do have the Church of Scotland, but for the like official Church of England,
I know. I'm just saying. I'm just foreseeing your Twitter, not mine.
Look
put on there. There's also a Church of Ireland, but the whole you can read my first book to find out about that.
No one agrees on anything.
Anything.
If you come away with this, with one thing, it is this: no one agrees on anything. Leah and I don't even agree on everything. So
no, the Trinity is made up. Go ahead.
Like, just anyway.
World War II, I think we're at.
What? So when the German Christian Church is like working out the way that they're doing theology to convince people that all of the heinous actions that Hitler was doing were actually good and right, it wasn't like they brainwashed people. It wasn't like they like put something in the Kool-Aid or whatever. It was a theological process that starts pretty early and like gains steam. It's very fear-based. It's very focused on like, how can we protect ourselves from the big bad other thing? And then the scapegoat primarily being the Jewish people.
Yep.
But there were a handful of theologians and pastors and people coming out of Germany. Karl Barth is actually Swiss, but the kind of general German-speaking countries that were fighting against it. And they started a group called the Confessing Church. And Karl Barth is probably the most notable member of that, and also arguably the most notable theologian of the 20th century.
So he thinks.
So Barth wrote a whole bunch of things about it, but is arguing that what we also call them is neo-Orthodox theologians, which just means that they're returning to the Orthodox teachings of the patristic period. So saying that we have defined and set understandings of who God is and who Jesus is, etc. We're back to the creeds, but we're understanding them in the new ways with the context of our modern understandings of science and stuff like
that. But Christy, that almost sounds like liberal theology.
It's coming out of liberal theology. That's what Karl Barth studied under.
I know.
He was a student of liberal theology. But
he was
like, the problem with liberal theology is that it was too loose, and it basically gave us, in his understanding, it gave us the opening for what Hitler did with theology. So he wanted there to be some boundaries of like, you can do some of these things, but we have to agree on something. And for Barth, that something is always Jesus.
Oh gosh.
It is always like, if you ever want to know anything about God, you can only know it through Jesus. Jesus is the Word of God. The Bible is the witness to the Word of God, which means that It's like a second tier revelation. So anything that we want to know about God, we don't have Jesus here, so we have to use the Bible, but it's all supposed to be a witness to Jesus. So everything is focused around Jesus. Salvation is focused around Jesus, all of it. And they're big. So that's his big thing. The other neo-Orthodox people.
And I think he thinks that Jesus is that sort of connection to the human.
Yes. Well,
the human
because their atonement theory, which is basically just how they understand that our salvation works, is reconciliation. And it's the idea that after the fall, whatever, we won't get into that today, but whatever the fall is, that there's a broken relationship between us and God. And because God is so big and unintelligible to our tiny human brains, the only thing that can happen is for God to send God's self in the form of a human, which is Jesus, for us to be able to latch on. So Jesus is the reconciliation to God. So we are only reconciled to God through Jesus. Bart says that if we're talking about like who is the elect or the chosen people of God, that it's actually that Jesus is the elect, and then all of humanity is under that umbrella. And so Bart essentially is a universalist, though that's contested in some areas. And then also he wrote this incredibly long systematic theology called Church Dogmatics. It would take up like my entire kitchen counter if you just put them.
And was really
he was verbose. There are also the footnotes are pages long. Like,
oh my gosh,
it's insane. It's very hard to read.
You're going on a date with him, so good luck.
But interesting. But he didn't finish it. He died before he finished it, so it would have been longer. But yeah, that's Karl Barth.
Yeah, and he is seen as being one of the most important. I think one of the most interesting. That's debatable, but definitely one of the most important. Segue to Bonhoeffer, who people love to talk about. Bonhoeffer was a part of that confessing church as well. He was a theologian in the German context. I'm not sure if he was German.
I think he was.
Okay, it's hard sometimes.
It's hard to keep them straight. They all talk. They all talk German. They all
scream nine into
nine
into the YouTube videos. And Bonhoeffer is kind of famously.
Yes, he was German.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. Famously known for. I've heard differing tales of his attempt on Hitler's life, so I would be interested to hear your take on this. But apparently, he was.
He was part of a
plot.
Yeah. And then he got caught.
Yeah.
And was put in a concentration camp as a political enemy, which is where he died.
It is. And I think he died like right on the edges of it being liberated.
He did. Yeah, it was real close. But he also wrote a lot from there. So there's a lot of letters from Bonhoeffer that he wrote in the concentration camp. His focus was a lot on community and the idea of a post-religious Christianity.
Yeah, and I think some people don't really understand what that means, but I think with Bonhoeffer, I'm not a Bonhoeffer scholar at
Nor
all.
am I.
But I think
nor is Eric Metaxas. So I'm gonna just he blocked me on Twitter a long time ago because I said this publicly. So saying it again.
I've heard you guys reference him, and I don't want to look him up because I don't want to.
He's the worst.
Okay, well, that's all I need to know. So my interpretation of Bonhoeffer will be at least better than his. I think first and foremost, Bonhoeffer was a pastor, a minister, which you don't always get that with some of the theologians. Like Schleiermacher, I think would say he was. Like, I don't think that was like a question, but when you get to
ironically, Karl Barth also was. He never actually did a PhD. He was just a pastor.
And that's the thing is but you can tell me, because again, I didn't study him extensively. Do you think it frames like what he writes in the way that it does Bonhoeffer?
Like, no, I think that some of Bart's earlier stuff does, but I think he became an academic and really
Yeah.
just leaned into that heavily. So no, I don't think that he's as pastoral. No.
Yeah, Bonhoeffer wrote things like Life Together and Cost
Yeah.
of Discipleship, and these are coming off the top of my head, but he did write a lot from prison, and I think part of the thing was he was trying to bring together that community, and I think those writings are important, not because he was writing from prison, but because it kind of showcased his theological understanding of, as you said, community and the importance of the kind of Christian community, and that really we're nothing without that community.
Yes.
And we need one another in order to be able to understand, not only for our own personal salvation. I felt like he moved more into kind of a communal salvation in a way, is that we needed each other in order to be able to fully understand what God was like.
Yeah. Well, and I actually think that that's fairly common with the neo-Orthodox, is that they're all very relational. The idea that we image God is understood as a relational thing. So we individually don't, but we in a community do. And that's, there's a big focus, but Bonhoeffer especially is very focused on community.
Yeah. And then you get Paul Tillich, who is not, he gets out.
He escaped. Yeah.
He goes to the old US of A.
Yep.
And he studies, and he kind of carries on a lot of these. Oh yeah. 2 margaritas, you know what they do.
Look, I also want you to know that I had to do all of this one-handed because Penny is in my lap.
She broke it. She was like, "You think you're getting away with this? No way."
She broke
you down. But Paul Tillich, he comes to the States. I don't know where he studied. Probably at
I think he got a job at Yale.
What?
I think he got a job at Yale, and that's how he got to the States.
Okay. I was going to say up north, but it started to feel a little whatever at the stage. But yeah, up north. He went up north. And
Union. Sorry, it was Union.
Oh, okay, fair. Same. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Doesn't matter.
Just kidding, James Cone and Katie Keenan. Just kidding. We'll get to you soon. Union is different. But yeah, his big thing was that he had this thing called the correlation method that I spoke about when I decided to marry him.
You said you were not convinced about.
Well, I'm not actually. I'm not. And he had this thought, and again, you're the systematician here, but he had this idea that basically all of the things that we're confronted with in the world or on earth, that there was some sort of theological answer that we could have within the
theological answer to all of our
questions
in the world.
And I'm not sure. I'm just not sure.
I would say that there is, but I don't think it's the answer you want it to be,
or that we know it, which means
or
not,
that too.
But then is it an answer if you don't know it? I mean,
well, there's a lot of answers that I don't know,
but
any math answers.
I know. I was at a quiz the other night, and someone was like, "What's the inverse of 10?" And I was like, "I still don't know. I still don't know what it is."
What does it mean to be the inverse of a number?
I don't know. I put 0 because it felt like the right number, and it's my dog's name. But I have no idea, no clue. Still, and I didn't. Here's how little I cared about it. Didn't even look it up. All my files are pretty much taken up at this stage. I don't have anything.
There's no more room.
There's no more. Have you heard us for the past two times? There's nothing left.
We have nothing. I have the date of the Great Schism stuck in my head. You know,
she does.
Practical information could be living where that is.
Oh my God, you could know a different language, except the ones we know are all dead.
Right. I only know the dead ones.
Anyway, so Paul Tillich had this idea that, when confronted with the day-to-day things, that there was an answer to those. Again, I'm a practical theologian, which means that I would not necessarily buy into that because practically,
I disagree with you,
Chris,
but I understand it.
of course. And that Christy's like, you're probably looking at it from a systematic lens, which is
Yeah.
that they're probably out there.
They're out there. We just have to find them.
Right. Yes, with our giant theology net, we have to capture them. But also, from a practical standpoint, I would say if we don't know them, they're pointless. Because why if you I mean, if they're just out there. Again, a mystic I am not. I am a humanist. I am very much in that world.
We will have a mystic on someday, and we'll just ask questions.
Yeah.
We'll just be like, "What is this?" And they'll be like, "We don't have answers. Why are you asking questions?"
We don't know the answer.
We don't know the answer.
And I'll be like, "Well, go do something, and I'll observe you, and then I'll come up with an answer." I.e., PT. One of the things that I will say is, and here's an idea. So we're at 55 minutes right now.
I know.
And we need to make our way.
Liberation ones for next time.
I think we do. And then maybe we could bring on our guest person and see if they want to talk about queer theology. And if they don't, then we'll just, talk about the stuff we know. Much like all the rest of the theology.
Much like every other episode.
Much like every other thing.
I think this is a great idea. Do you want to? So we'll move to liberation theology next time. But
so we're gonna stop in the 1950s. That's where
we've got the neo-Orthodox guys, primarily guys. There's some women, they come later.
They still exist. The people who study them.
Women are like, hey,
they were here.
We have some answers to the questions you've been asking, dear Paul.
And they're like,
I don't know about that.
Did you say you have boobs? I'm not sure.
I just feel like your body is so distracting.
Your body. Do you have yoga pants on? I don't know.
Get those yoga pants away from
I saw something about that on Twitter, and I was like, I'm pretty sure the Bible says you're supposed to gouge your own eyeballs.
You know that the yoga pants conversation has been going on for at least 15 years, and
they can absolutely suck at it.
It is.
I'm sorry.
We need to move past this. Women are wearing yoga pants. They're comfortable.
Also, I'm wearing whatever I want to wear. Remember the Bible.
Gouge your
eyeballs out. Yeah. If you're struggling with it, I will take responsibility for your gouging of your eyeballs out. But that's what you're supposed to do. And if you care so much about what the Bible says, get your fork ready. These girls are coming out at some stage. So anyway, the unscripted question.
Yes,
I got to do the category this week.
Yes, you did.
And I was like, I don't know what I should do. And I was like, I was talking to Christy, and then I was like, I just was looking at my shelf, like, oh, what should I do? And then Salem just stepped on my lung and was like, just stared at me.
And then it hit you.
And then it hit me. So the unscripted category this week is animals.
Animals. Okay.
So
you ask your question first.
I will. So this is a fun question that gets asked a lot. So I teach world religions. This is something you will have to do. You will have to, if you do religion in undergraduate, you will suddenly have to be an expert in all the religions. And I apologize to all of them profusely because I am not. Mm-hmm. But I try to do the basics. But anyway, one of the questions that you get in Hinduism is one of the things is in a lot of reincarnation religions, you have to be a human in order to reach reincarnation.
Yes.
That's sort of seen as like the highest level. So my question to you is, because my students always ask me, do you think there is another animal that could actually reach reincarnation that's not a human? And I always make a joke about cats because I'm like, think about, we are the highest ranking being. We have big brains. Yeah. What do we do with them? We, blow people up and
mostly,
shoot,
we punch each other.
Penis rockets to space or whatever. So that's what we do with it. But cats just sit and sleep all day, eat, and get to curl up in cozy like things, and that's their whole life.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, do you think animals are the highest thing for reincarnation specifically? And if not, what is? What do you think is like
Or
the
do I
beat?
think, like, is there a different animal that could be the highest?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
for sure, I feel like elephants are
yeah.
absolutely the highest.
Oh, I love elephants.
Elephants are so smart and they're so caring, and, like, the more we learn about elephants, the more amazing they are. Like, elephants are amazing.
I
And
know. When
it's because they don't have thumbs. I tell this to Penny all the time. The only reason I'm in charge is because I have opposable thumbs and she doesn't. Like, if they also had thumbs, elephants could take us out and be like, "We're gonna fix the world."
Oh my gosh, that's so true. Say if Salem had a thumb, he would
If
just be
only they had thumbs.
he'd just be opening my bathroom door, being like, "What are you doing in there?" Well, sir, just trying to have 2 seconds.
Trying to have a moment alone.
He needs a monocle and a top hat when he does that.
He totally does.
Excuse me, ma'am.
That's a good question, though. I like that.
Yeah, my students always have really good answers for it because I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
well, if you don't buy into the fact, because some Jains also think that only men can reach enlightenment,
Yes.
the sort of orthodox or not
Yeah.
orthodox, the very monkey ones.
The naked ones.
Yeah, the naked
Yeah.
ones, right? Yeah, because women naked is too much. But
Too much.
so I just always ask them. I'm like, who do you think would be up there?
I think elephants. That's my vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
All
Perfect.
right. My question for you.
Ready.
Okay. So when you were initially, or like at first, your first like memory of being presented with the story of Noah's Ark,
Yes.
what was your reaction?
I thought about a Noah's Ark question.
What was your reaction?
I used to teach children's ministry, and let me tell you, it is not all felt animals on in an ark. They have questions. and you talk about people who give you hard questions, children.
Yes.
Like,
sure.
why was God so mad?
Why did God kill all of the
Why
animals?
did God kill
that was
everyone?
my question.
Why did the dinosaurs not make it? We love dinosaurs.
Mhm.
Dinosaurs are big. Where were they? They didn't make the cut, I guess.
They
I don't
were
know.
too big.
They were too big. But apparently elephants were not.
Elephants made it. Yeah.
When I was first presented, well, again, I grew up Southern Baptist, so when I first was presented with it, I had very little thought. I was like, okay, this is what happened. Yeah. When I went to college and I started actually thinking about the logistics, speaking of the Enlightenment, I was like, we have fossil fuels. Like, what, what the whole world, like, and then also I had questions, who did they make babies with? Like, that's the question.
I know, right. Well, that's the kind of linchpin question for both. My students ask me this about like Adam and Eve, and then Noah and his family. It's like they're the only humans.
Right. Right.
What's going on here?
No wonder those brothers were fighting in the beginning. They like had 4 heads or something. But I mean, I think once I learned more in my seminary and doctorate degree about the idea that the Jews don't view the Bible the way the Christians do, which is very important. And I don't want to say every Jewish person, because again, it's not my area to speak for, but they
also
do.
Not all Christians, but
sure, yeah, it's viewed very what would you say, allegorical, or like kind of storytelling in a way,
symbolic, metaphor. I don't know.
Sure, yeah, I like my words are leaving me because of the margarita. I would say metaphorically, yeah, like Adam in Hebrew means like a man.
It's like
creature. Right. So you have to kind of, and so, and also I will say the biggest education I got, which we would encourage our listeners to do this, is talking to Jewish people.
Yes.
And asking them, I know Jewish studies scholars who are dear friends, and then I just know people who are Jewish that are dear friends, and just talking to them about, because a lot of these stories, yes, they are stories that have been put into the Christian text, but they are fundamentally Jewish by, origin. And so,
Mm-hmm.
talking to them about some of this stuff really helped open my eyes to the fact that, like, it's okay if this doesn't make sense. It doesn't have to.
It doesn't have to. Yeah. I totally agree. And I think that, like, understanding how Jewish theology works helped me understand a lot of the Old Testament so much better.
So much better.
So much
and
better.
The fact that conservative Christians, like, pick out, like, certain bits of the Old Testament and are like, yeah, and then the other ones are like, 9.
That whole understanding of the literal reading of the Bible, which I will make a plug for the Bible for Normal People podcast and Facebook, website, Instagram, etc. Bible for Normal People, Pete Enns, has a whole thing right now on the idea of reading the Bible literally and what it actually would mean and what we actually should be doing. And it's very helpful. And I super encourage everybody to go listen to that. But
yes, and PNs is going to be at we're doing a with Homebrewed, or I am doing, sorry, Christy. It's in Charlotte. You can come if you want.
I live in the wrong state. It's fine.
It's in the wrong state. In Charlotte, we're doing a vacation Bible school for adults, and it'll be me and I know Pete Enns is going to be there in our first trip fuller. So, and that's happening.
So the end of June.
The end of June, yeah. So go to the Homebrewed page for that, Homebrewed Christianity page to find out more. But yeah, so that's my answer. Is it started out very like, okay.
I just remember being furious. Like,
were you that? Like, you were that?
God kill all of these innocent animals. They're just living their animal lives.
I also love that you didn't say people there.
No, I didn't care about the people. That made sense. I was just like, oh, they were terrible. Okay.
that tracked.
And now we understand me so much better.
On that note, shall we depart?
Yes. So join us next time for part 3, Liberation Theology.
Yes, and please like and subscribe and do all of those things.
All the things.
It helps us to buy our drinks each week.
It does, and rate things. All the stuff you know. You do,
but I will say it does matter. You hear this a lot with. I hear this a lot with like people who do podcasts, and it does actually matter because I joke about the drinks. We don't get paid for it, but it does help because it means that we can do it more.
Yeah, and it helps us to know what you guys want us to talk about because what more feedback gives better podcasts. So
true. All right. I'm gonna. This killed me. This one. I've lost. I don't know if I have any words left, and I am only, I will say, 3/4 of the way through.
My margarita, to be fair, was a lot smaller than yours, so my glass is little. All right. Bye,
well, everybody. I will talk to you tomorrow, Christy. I'm gonna wake you up at like 4 a.m. and be like, "What is Noah's Ark really about?" And you're gonna be like,
"Where are the dinosaurs?
Where are the dinosaurs? Are they just in the gasoline? Is Nessie real?
Nessie is real."
I don't know. All right, y'all. See you later.
Yeah.
Bye.